Chad Hasty Show, News Talk KFYO. 14 days until Election Day. Early voting continues here in Texas until October 30th. And on your ballot, you'll find our next guest. His name is on the ballot. Republican candidate for Railroad Commission, Jim Wright, joining us here on the Chad Hasty Show. And Jim, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Chad. How are you? I'm doing fine.
Good. Doing well here. Tell folks a little bit about yourself and you know, obviously you're running for Railroad Commissioner. You're on the, you're a Republican ballot. But tell folks a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you wanted to run for Railroad Commissioner.
Certainly. You know, I have been in the energy-related service business for over 30 years now. And I've dealt with all facets of it, oil and gas, petrochemical, utility, uranium, coal, and the business services that we provide. And, you know, I grew up in Texas. I grew up on a ranch and a farm, and I'm passionate about Texas. I love Texas, and I want to make sure that we uphold what our economy is built on, which is the oil and gas energy industry. And that's what brought me to running for this race.
How do you think the Trump administration has done when it comes to energy?
You know, I think Trump has done good about looking internally when it comes to American businesses benefiting, and I think he's made the right choices in trying to lead us to looking, you know, within to promote that and make sure that we've got a good, strong economy moving forward for our future generations. What
issues do you see coming up, you know, for the Railroad Commission? And, you know, you could say, depending on how the presidential race goes, that could present some all new issues for the Railroad Commission. But what are some of those issues that you're anticipating?
You know, certainly. You know, I view this race as the most important race here in Texas this session. The opposition sees this election cycle as an opportunity to claim victory in turning Texas purple. My opponent, you know, began campaigning as if she was pro-industry, but has quickly aligned herself with several anti-industry folks like Aaron Brockovich in hopes of bringing a Green New Deal to Texas. A Green New Deal means hundreds of millions of dollars and a devastating number of jobs lost. A vote for my opponent takes food off the tables for hundreds of thousands of Texas and their families. You know, I don't think people really realize what's at stake here and how important this election is. You know, I came to this race because I deal in facts. I don't like to see experts that seem to have a tunnel vision give out their opinions when common sense really needs to prevail. And when you look at what is really behind the Green New Deal, Chad, and you look at a tax code called 242, it's nothing but a way for larger corporations, and not those within Texas, but large corporations, to buy those losses that renewable energy generates today and use it for their own profits. I think those are facts that people need to know about, and they need to know about, you know, what does renewable energy really do to our environment versus what fossil fuel is doing today. And I think they would be amazed if they knew the truth in that.
Yeah. What have you been doing campaign-wise? Have you been doing a lot of events? And it's always interesting to me, you know, what candidates are doing in the age of coronavirus.
You know, it's been tough this year because of the pandemic. You know, I have not refused to go somewhere and meet with anybody that's willing to meet. But I've had my share of Zoom, and still going through that. You know, we've tried to, with the money that's been available, to get out and be everywhere we can, digital, radio, social, and holding rallies and just talking to people about, you know, the oil and gas industry and what benefits it provides for Texas and what we can do to move forward in the future to make sure we have sustainability in that market and that we have a good economy here in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's a very important race. I mean, you bring up even the Green New Deal, and for listeners who may not know, there are people floating this idea in Texas. In fact, the Austin City Council, in Austin, they've got a proposition on the ballot where it would effectively bring in the new Green Deal down in Austin. I mean, so, these are ideas that are being floated even here in this state, Jim, and it's something that's pretty scary.
It is very scary. I mean, and it's real because, I think the people that have been promoting that has really served up a punch that people are drinking. And I think it's my job to make sure that people understand exactly what that is and the impact it's going to have on us in the future. I'll just give you one small example. Look at Germany that really, really drank that punch. They're losing most of their industry. They're paying 3 times more for their energy. Look at California, who's paying 6 times more for their energy now because of the punch they drank.
Yeah.
When you look at environmentalists that promoted the Green New Deal, a lot of them are jumping off that bandwagon because of its impacts it truly has on the environment versus our proven technology, which is fossil fuel today.
Jim, tell folks where they can find out more information about you and your campaign.
Certainly, please go to wrightfortexas.com. It lays out a lot of the issues that I'm talking about and where I stand and what I want to do to help Texas. And it has a place in there to volunteer and help. I think it's very important that everybody knows we need to get to the poll and we need to make sure that we uphold this economy we have built here in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim Wright, Republican candidate for Railroad Commissioner. Appreciate your time today, and I'm sure we'll visit again soon.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's Jim Wright, Republican candidate for Railroad Commissioner here in Texas. He's a Republican, so remember, get out there and vote. And no straight party voting. You got to go all the way through the ballot on this one. All the way through the ballot on this go-around.